I watched her walk to the gate. She went in, then she backed out. The minute she backed out, I don't think she was ready to break.
Don't run the pony over.
Magna Fortuna digging down! Magna Fortuna!
It could end today, and we would all still be on cloud nine.
Time before when she raced, I didn't like the way she broke, so I thought we'll school her a couple times in a gate. Most of the time, yeah, I walk, just to be safe, She goes there and stand up and see what's going on, and then she walks again, So I just didn't want to delay too much, so that's why I just went and walked her and stand her over there for a couple of minutes, so in that way she feels a little comfortable, The gate hours are from 7:30 to 9:30, so we just go and tell the name of the horse. They ask me, what are you going to do? Are you to break or are you going to just stand in a gate? I said, just stand and back her up. She stood up real fine, not a problem. So she did everything perfect, We got a new filly. She's a little green, and she came back from the track, and I was just taking her polos off, and the hard worker was holding the horse, and for some reason she got spooked, So she just kicked me right on my shin. So I just walked in and started taking the polos off, and bang, she goes. So just one kick, it sounded bad. I said, oh, probably I broke. I got 3 fractures below the knee, right on the shin. Accident happens, but we have to be cautious. So the first thing in the morning, I tell my guys, hey, take your earphones out, no radio here, no that. You have to pay attention what's going on here, So I told everybody, see guys, to learn a lesson. This is my first time I broke something in 45 years with the horses. Hour and a half before the race, we put him in the ice. Then we take the ice boots off and then put the wet wraps in the behind legs. And after that, we put the bridle in and shoot some little plain water in the mouth so they clean up, they're not too dry. Then we put the tongue tie so they don't talk. Oh, the purpose of the tongue tie is for the breathing. Tongue tie is down under the bit, and they have little air so they can breathe better. Yeah, this pretty much all the horses have it. And then she's ready to go to the track. She was a favorite, not a tough competition, so I thought, okay, we can win this race easy, If I was a handicapper, I would have definitely bet that horse. She broke fine, and then when she was laying like 5th or 6th, I said, why she's laying that far, because I know jockey wasn't holding her or anything, because usually she takes the bit and she goes. She didn't give her 100%. She didn't fire at all. We had a lot of rain, so we couldn't walk it out in the shed row because the shed row was all flooded. So after the race, when she came back, we gave her a bath and we had to walk outside in the parking lot. Let her drink a little water, walk around, drink water. They have to drink little at a time, because if you drink too much, then they can get sick or, We have to put back her in the stall to go to the bathroom. She goes to the bathroom, then she comes out again. Then we walk another 15-20 minutes just to make sure she's cool enough to go back in the stall. When she's done that, then we wash her legs, clean her up, then put her in the stall. I knew that something's bothering, And I knew it's not that she's tired or anything, because she's dead fit and she eats up breakfast and dinner real good. I have no problem with that. So just to be safe, I called the veterinarian and I said, hey, do me a favor, just scope this filly. And he asked me, you didn't like the way she ran? I said, no, I didn't like the way she ran.
Typically, we get the call when there's an event of poor performance. A horse doesn't perform the way she's supposed to, and we get the call to give a cursory physical exam looking for anything that might be abnormal that would cause a poor performance. This is a stethoscope. It's the same one, but interestingly enough, it's a lot longer. So they make it especially for large animals, so I can get underneath the horse. And this is an endoscope. So you saw me thread it through the horse's nostrils up into his airway, and then I'll maneuver it down into the trachea so I can get a good look at what's in the trachea, if there's any mucus production, blood from the lungs, or any other abnormality, debris from the racetrack, things like that, that might explain a poor performance. You can see the light. So there's two lights and then the endoscope itself. And so I can see into there, and then when I'm threading it back, I'm just looking through the nasal passages to see if there's anything abnormal. You know, I could scope a half a dozen horses in an afternoon if they don't perform well. So I use this piece of equipment a lot. We report back to the trainer what we might think was wrong, or then we'll go from there. We'll try to figure out why things didn't go the way they were supposed to go.
So he came and he called me back and he said, yeah, she have a little mucus. The weather has been so weird lately. Hot, cold, probably she got it like 3-4 days before the race. With that much amount, she had the mucus, it's nothing much. So probably she knew before she went to the race, and said, oh, you know, I don't feel that great, you know. But no sign of it though. Most of the horses, they tell you, something bothers, they don't eat, or they don't finish. At least give me some hint, you know. She doesn't give me any hint. We put her on the antibiotics for that mucus, and then next time I work her, I'm going to scope her again and make sure everything is clean. Everything is good. She's back in training. We jogged her a couple days and she started galloping now. And then we're going to work her maybe about 10 days or so, and then we'll give another try. We'll find another race for her.
He came out of his race good. He ran very hard. I thought it was his best effort so far. After his race, we did notice he had a little bit of filling, which means a little warmth and a little fluid in his right front leg. Not particularly alarming, it's not unusual, but it's something he hadn't had before. It came down and was perfectly normal within 2 to 3 days, but it was his way of telling me perhaps this is time for a break.
We are at the Illinois Equine Humane Center's main farm in Maple Park, Illinois. Mostly what we do here is rescue, rehabilitate, and adopt horses out, a lot of which are former racehorses, thoroughbreds.
Taxi is fine. He is A-okay. Nothing to worry about. I came out here with Gail the day we brought him over. It didn't take him long to really start rip-roaring around the paddock and having fun and kicking up his heels.
Who wouldn't like this? This is hundreds of acres of green grass. What better place for a horse?
It would have been great if he could run at Arlington in the summer. That would have been really, really fun. But it's really great for him to be out here in the summer too, when he can be on the green grass and out in the sun. And you know, a lot of Michelle's horses get their breaks in the winter and they're stuck in the stall or, you know, in the snow and that. So it's really nice that he can be out in the summer.
I've been out here usually about 2 or 3 times, you know, every week since he's been out here, just to say hi, give him his carrots, spoil him. We had this big debate. Does he remember? Do they remember each other? You know, what's this going to be like? There was one day a couple of weeks ago when I was out here by myself, just, you know, hanging out with them, and Taxi went over to the fence to Lulu. He had his head hanging over one side of the fence and she had her head hanging over on his side of the fence. They were standing right there by each other. I go, this could be interesting. And like within about 30 seconds, Lulu's ears just went straight back. She bares those teeth and Taxi just runs. I was like, yeah, I think maybe he does remember her now.
I think horses have great memories and they never forget. And she probably has never forgotten how uncomfortable she was with Taxi.
Lulu's actually doing better than she probably ever has. She's finally learning to accept people more, and she's had a hard life, and it was a long time getting her to come around and really trust people again.
Well, I think Lulu has really changed a lot. When I first met her, it was after Taxi was born, and then she really didn't want to have anything to do with humans.
She was emotionally shut down when she came to ILEHC, and she didn't trust people. And it's taken her a long time to get over that. It was almost like she connected the dots and realized that maybe human beings are a little bit okay. It kind of makes you realize there, even though she has had terribly crabby times when we thought there was no coming back from that, there are no bad horses.
It's a vacation for him. And I think mentally as well as physically it does him a great deal of good.
He's settled right in, and you know, he's got that great relationship with Fully, and I think Fully is a good teacher and there's a good communication between the two, it seems.
Fully Motivated is Taxi's pasture mate. He's 22 this year. He actually had something like 60 starts and had 19 or 20 wins. You know, some of the partners made a comment that Taxi's telling Fully about his races. I said, well, Fully got a lot of wins that he needs to talk about, so I'm sure they're having a lot of fun.
Looking at it as probably 60 days of downtime, and then he'll come right back. And he's getting a moderate amount of exercise in the paddock, running around.
I think he looks fabulous. He seems to be enjoying it, and he gets to run around and eat grass and roll in the mud and have a good time. I think him and Fully seem to get along really well together.
No, it's great watching them run and play like that and have their own little races. I think Margaret and I we were on the side cheering for Taxi to go, go, so every time he would run by us, you could see him looking at us. We're like, go Taxi, go. But I think it's great that they get out there and just run and play like they do. I think it's keeping him fit. He looks great, I think.
It shouldn't take him long to be back ready to run here at Arlington. I would hope no later than September. And I do want to take the opportunity to try him on turf.
Michelle's motto the whole time, Taxi will let us know when he's ready. So, but he will be back.
Broken Boat was the only horse in the barn where we went and looked at. He was all by himself, and everybody had moved out, and I felt bad for him. So, bought him. He seems to be more personable than he was when we first got him. I don't think he got a lot of attention.